BuzzFeed's own Bim Adewunmi tweeted about this story from Apartment Therapy. You're definitely not washing your towels enough. Suggests that if you use your towels more than twice without washing, you're probably getting more E. coli on your face than if you stuck your head in a toilet. Before I head off to take a Silkwood shower, I figured I should consult with BuzzFeed News science reporter Dan Vergano. Dan, good morning.
Hey, Isaac, how are you doing?
I got one question for you this morning, Dan. Am I as contaminated as a head of romaine lettuce?
No, you're not that contaminated. When you get out of the shower, you're about as clean as you're going to get. The problem is that, bacteria are pretty tricky buggers, and they do grow if you give them a chance.
If you give them a chance. So how do my super fluffy, super comfortable, super bougie, beautiful towels go from out of the dryer gorgeous to bacteria-ridden minefields in just a couple days?
That's the magic of microbes, man. They grow. If you give them a nice, wet, dark environment to thrive in, even a few, they can go from, a handful to, after a week, anywhere from 1 million to 1 billion bacteria on your typical wash towel, especially if you keep them in the dark, don't let them dry, they're wet, that helps them out growing.
Okay, you've got me a little bit shook here because usually you're like, no, don't worry about that. That was crazy. But now this is real stuff you're talking about. We're talking bath towels and hand towels in that article. Should I be worried about my dish towels too? Like, am I washing everything? What's going on?
Yeah, dish towels can get nasty because they stay wet. They're great, though, for knocking bacteria off dishes, especially if you let them air dry afterwards. So, yeah, the dish towels, put in the wash every couple days. It turns out, bacteria, they're all come in all kinds. And, the ones that are growing there are mostly harmless and it's okay. We're surrounded by bacteria all the time. There's just a handful of kinds that can be dangerous. And unless you are sick, you're actually not shedding that kind of bacteria so much. They say E. coli in these stories, but it turns out there's a gazillion kinds of E. coli, and really only one kind is bad for you. And it's unlikely, unless you have food poisoning, that you're shedding that. So, you have a healthy immune system, you're in good health. Bacteria, not really that big a deal.
Are you saying that there's a chance I'm interacting with E. coli all the time in my everyday life?
Doubtless, yeah. It's ubiquitous in the environment. It's okay. We're part of the environment. They're all around us.
All right. Well, let's say this information is stressing me out. Let's say maybe I do want to start washing my towels a little more often than I do. How often should I wash my towels to keep them bacteria-free?
Well, to keep it to a minimum, to keep them bacteria-free, probably every 2 or 3 days you would do it. If the question is how you do it. Like I said, if a week for a healthy person is probably okay as long as you're not letting them, get all wet. But to minimize it, every 2 or 3 days, sure, throw them in the wash. But again, it depends on how you wash it.
Oh, all right. Now I'm starting not to even believe that that's enough. Should I be boiling my towels in like a giant tub, like an old Pioneer type? Should I be doing some of this, man?
It depends. You should be doing it on hot or using bleach or both. And especially throwing in the dryer and letting the dryer have a good thing to desiccate that bacteria will help out a lot. If you're putting it on cold and not using detergent, they might knock the stains out, but it ain't really getting the bacteria out of there.
All right, let me just, for representing maybe another group, how long, not speaking for myself personally, of course, but how long could I maybe wait to wash a towel before it becomes real funky?
If you're letting it dry, get a little sunlight on the thing, then, a week is okay. When it's standing up and stiff by itself, then come on, Isaac, throw it in the wash, man.
Okay, all right. So about once a week is what you're telling me here. That seems reasonable. That makes sense to me.
Use hot water, bleach, right?
Always with the hot water, always with bleach. What about water conservation, though? Washing clothes this often can use a lot of water.
Right. So the smart thing to do then is to segregate your clothes. It turns out that towels are a low risk. If you're a clothes scientist, a low risk item in the laundry. It's things like the undies that you want to segregate and let those really have it with the hot water and the bleach and everything like that. The other things, the low risk ones, you can do them in a week, warm with detergent and then in the dryer. They're okay.
Okay, so I should be washing my underwear separate from everything else.
You're the environmentally conscious fellow, Isaac. You got to suffer a little bit for your concerns.
Dan, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on this morning and talking to us about it.
Thanks, man. Good to be here. Take care. Stay clean.
Yeah, I'm going to feel real fresh and clean. Up next, Saeed and I are going to read some of your tweets, and I'm going to wash all my clothes. I was not expecting him to say that. That's wild.